Some TV, the pulse of the nation.
You are specially invited to the book launch titled Comprehensive Structure and Curriculum Coverage on Part of Speech in Kuteb Mother Tongue. Author Jeremiah Musa Ambashek JP. Date Sunday, 10th August 2025. Venue Bible Society of Nigeria, Roadblock Jalingo, Taraba State. Time 2 p.m. prompt. Chairman of the occasion, Honorable Joshua Yurugu Piki, Member, Taraba State House of Assembly Jalingo. Chief Launcher, Sir Michael Magaji, Director Bureau of Public Enterprise, Team Presidency, Abuja. Special guest of honor, Honorable Dr. Felista Musa JP, Commissioner, Social Justice and Reintegration, Jalingo. Royal Father of the Day, Quay Dr. Amos Adiki, Bamboo Chieftain Representative Ambikwe. Child Lady of the occasion, Pastor Mrs. Fintrima Emmanuel Bolos, 6th Fin Classic, Jalingo. Book reviewer, Reverend Dr. Victor Audu, Lecturer, Taraba State University, Jalingo. Iya Anda of the Day, Pastor Honorable Mrs. Vicky Aishinfe, SA to the wife of the Governor, Taraba State. In the full of the day, Honorable Emmanuel Lawson, Deputy Chief of Staff, Taraba State. Chief Host, Reverend Dr. Andy and Mrs. Musa JP and Moses. Special appearance, the Prince, Ibrahim Damburam, HOD, Arts Education, Taraba State University, Jalingo. Chief Organizer, Mr. Iranomba Adi, Mr. Manasseh Luka, The Gates, Imbatem and Moses. Master of the ceremony, Honorable Henry I. Jolo, Jalingo, Taraba State. Patron, Comrade Emmanuel Ukwen, KYN President. Music featuring Lord Andy Adaki, Celebrity Lecturer, Ayote Hosea, Ayek Bambo, Victor Ambokji, and others. Dress code, Kuteb cultural attires. Come and learn to unlearn the unlearnable. Announcer, the organizing committee team.
Good evening and welcome to Some TV Hangout with Journalists. I am Ibrahim Mane Judah. This is where issues that matters are brought to the spotlight with depth, balance, and integrity. And tonight, we turn our focus to a matter of grave urgency, the Karim Lamido crisis, and why government must act now. As tensions rises and lives are disrupted, the call for decisive, peaceful, and inclusive intervention becomes louder. What is the role of government? And how can communities unite against fear and division? And what must be done, not tomorrow, but now, to restore lasting peace in Karim Lamido local government? The late General Murtala Mohammed once said, "Security is not just the absence of violence, it is the presence of justice, unity, and purposeful leadership." Also, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. said, "Peace is not merely a distant goal that we seek, but a means by which we must arrive at that goal." That is why today we are bringing to the fore the crisis in Karim Lamido local government. And with me this morning to do justice to this issue is Mr. Era Daniel Kukwen, the Director of Programs and the Director of News and Public Affairs on Some TV. Good morning, sir.
Good evening.
Oh, good evening. Yeah. I'm used to having you in the morning. Yeah. Good evening once again.
Good evening. Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, you're welcome to hang out with journalists.
I'm so happy to be here with you again on this platform to make analysis of issues that has befallen our states, our beloved Karim Lami, the local government, and other challenges of security that we're facing in this part of the world.
Thank you very much. Yeah. And today we will be joined by a special guest, special appearance by Chief Gabriel Olayinka, the CEO of Sun TV and Taraba News, who has a lot of insights on this crisis. He has been one of those who has been following this crisis from the onset, and he will be giving us a lot of insights. He'll be joining us via telephone call later in the program. Before we go on, let me give you a background for this program and the crisis. In recent weeks, Karim Lamido local government area of Taraba State has become the epicenter of rising insecurity, ethnic tension, and human suffering. Shocking reports from Mungadoso and Banda villages point to an alarming breakdown of peace and order. According to official reports from security agencies there, on the evening of July 21st, 2025, suspected Fulani herders attacked local farmers in the Fadama Lafia area of Mungadoso village. The gruesome assault led to the killing of two individuals, Marshal Jacob, 32 years old, and Iko Adamu, 34 years old, with reports indicating that their eyes were removed and their bodies mutilated. Two others, Sunday Bawuro and Odoji Baguma, died while fleeing the scene in panic. Tragically, this was not an isolated incident. On July 29, 2025, suspected Fulani attackers struck again, this time in Bandawa village. 25 houses were razed in a deliberate arson attack. Fortunately, most villagers have fled ahead of the raid, taking with them their valuables. While this may have reduced casualties, the psychological and economic scar run. Local sources allege that this attack are retaliatory and possibly linked to earlier incident involving the killing of cattle belonging to Fulani herders. That is some of the possible reasons why this attack keeps going on. Regardless of the root cause, what is undeniable is the urgent need for a coordinated, just, and swift response. The government, traditional rulers, and community leaders have been called upon to act with urgency. And beyond rhetorics, these affected communities are demanding protection, dialogue, justice, and long-term strategies for peaceful coexistence. And tonight on Sun TV, Angle with Journalists, we unpack this crisis, its origins, consequences, and the actions that must be taken now to prevent further bloodshed. This is the background for what we're going to discuss today. Now, I want us to start this to create this impression that, yes, we know what government is doing concerning the Karim Lamido crisis. Even as we speak, I think there's a commission of inquiry into the matter. There have been a lot of, both from the state government has done a lot. The 6th Brigade, the police, all the security agencies, the DSS, they'll be working day and night to ensure that this crisis does not go escalate further. But it seems there are still pockets of violence here and there. Now, before we go on, so that it may not look as if the government ends are just folded, watching what is going on, you can just update us on some of those things that the government have done concerning this crisis in the past and still doing now.
Well, we've seen how security meetings have been convened severally, where the governor has summoned security agencies to hold meetings with them, stakeholders, politicians from that area. And I think the latest one is the committee of inquiry that was set up. Commission of inquiry that was set up. And whatever it is that the government has done has not stopped the problem from escalating. So think at this point in time, we need to say it that there is need for more to be done. Because it is after those committees were set up, it is after the meetings with the security agencies that we've seen how this crisis have escalated. We've seen how, though we must admit that the number of people killed the first time keep reducing, not up to, because at that point we had like 40 people that were killed. But now we keep seeing the numbers being reduced. Maybe it is because of the awareness that people now have become more alert, they've become more security conscious, so that if they see any strange movement or they feel that something is about to happen, they run away and other things like that. But we still experience this crisis. They keep reoccurring in one way or the other, and there is a need for more to be done.
Okay, there's a need for more to be done. And I also want to speak on the issue of security is in the hands of everybody. And I keep saying it, no matter what the government or the security agencies do, as long as the people don't want to live in peace, it will be very hard to achieve a peaceful coexistence.
Yes.
You can force, you can put all the, what they just do is to wait when tensions come down, they attack again. So there's a need for an organic solution to this. Right from the, are these people ready to sheath their sword? That is another question. The attackers, why are they attacking? Are lives of animals and crops more important? Is the animals and crops more important than the lives of people? Is there another question? Is it just this land and pasture, or is there something behind all this? These are the questions that we must get to know before we can really address this issue.
But it's coming from the background where we already know that it is not a new story now that security architecture in Nigeria is overwhelmed. You understand? Because I'm looking forward to the situation where even if the people are going to be security conscious, even if people have a role to play in safeguarding their communities and their societies, there is a need for government to be able to use the non-kinetic methods that have been agitating for some time now. You see security agencies, chief of defense staff, and other stakeholders like that have mentioned how there is a need for non-kinetic methods.
Yeah, that is why when the Commission of Inquiry was created, it's part of the non-kinetic.
Now, I'm looking at it from the perspective where even if the non-kinetic method is going to be employed, there should be sufficient intelligence gathering that will be able to predict or preempt that, okay, this is what we expect, that the next attack may be coming from this place, and there is a need for us to do this, because now it is just an assumption that it is possible that there are these attacks as a result of this and that. You understand? If somebody's cow, for instance, is being killed, and the person is planning to retaliate, there is a way you can meet him and pacify him if we have the sufficient intelligence. We locate him, we know where he is, we know his grievances, and we look for a way of pacifying him, at least until he brings up arms, then we'll start running. It's better for us to meet and discuss methods that can bring peace, you understand? So I'm looking at government taking up this, because no matter how ready those people in that community are, they are handicapped. They don't have the funds, they don't have the structure, they don't have the facilities. So we're depending on government to provide the requisite intelligence, the requisite information that will give these people an age. I don't know how age, you understand, so that they will be at par. These people, they will say the Fulani bandits or the killers came because their cows were killed. Now, they went away with their grievances. Nobody has met them. Nobody has followed up on their track to say, okay, this mistake has been done. We need to sit down and discuss the way forward. If you want compensation for your cows or for your properties that were destroyed, then we'll follow that. If you want, so that if these discussions are being conducted, you will discover that this crisis will not continue to keep coming up like this.
Okay, well, I think at this point I will have to bring in Chief Gabriel Olayinka, who has a lot to say on this. Let me, I think we are going to bring him into the show right away. Yes, good evening, Chief Gabriel Olayinka.
Yeah.
Good evening. You are welcome to Hang Out with Journalists.
Thank you so much. It's my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Okay, you're welcome. We just had a background discussion on the Karim Lamido crisis and why government must act now. And I know for months you've been following this crisis in Karim, and through Taraba News, Some TV, there are a lot of reports that even go that other people don't have access to. You have this access to these reports. I want you to do to give the viewers a breakdown of what exactly is happening in Karim. After doing that, I also want you to profile some solutions to the situation we have on ground.
Okay, thank you so much. The situation in Karim is the one that is very pathetic. If you remember, some months ago, there was an attack that affected some communities, Munga Doso, Munga Lele, in which led to a situation where we even have a mass burial. And after then, there have been some form of intervention and some form of reconciliation. A lot of efforts has been done. There was a time even the commander of the 6th Brigade of the Nigerian Army, Brigadier General Kingsley Owa, used a non-kinetic approach to see how to resolve the problem and the crisis. And he even was able to bring all the parties together to sign what is referred to as peace accord. Basically, the crisis is between what I call the indigenous people and the headers. Basically, that has been one of the causes of the crisis. And as you know, the issue of headers and farmers crisis has a long bearing in Nigeria. We have this crisis all over the countries, different parts of the country. Government upon government have failed to provide lasting solution to the problem. And that is the situation we've had in Karim. The government on its part, currently as we speak, there is a committee of inquiry, a judicial committee of inquiry, trying to inquire about the root of the crisis. But unfortunately, even while the committee is still sitting down, we still continue to have pockets of this crisis. And what is more pathetic is that this has now become like a continuous thing. Virtually every week now, we have this crisis. Just on the 29th of, that is just last week, Ebandawa village was burned down completely. From the report we gathered, it appears as if even the locals have the understanding that the attackers will come, because based on the first-hand information that we gather, you see pictures of villages burned down, properties burned down, and though from what we gathered, people seem to have a background knowledge and they flee even before the attackers come. And this also has happened 2 weeks before now. You know, the same Bandawa village was said to be attacked, and the effort is so you wonder a place in which this attack has occurred severally. And you know, let's not even put the issue before us is not even who to blame. Because for me, having followed up on this crisis and having been reporting about what is going on ground, I see that the two sides also have their own. We also gathered on the 9th of July, you know, some youths purportedly said to be Bandawa youth went and killed the cows belonging to Fulanis in a merciless approach. I have the videos, I saw the videos of what is happening, and I keep asking myself, in this 21st century, we can go and kill animals in this manner, to a point at which I even shed tears, looking at the way and manner. Was the animals the ones that commit those offense, or what is really the offense of the animal in which they were killed in such a manner? And I believe that it's also part of what led to maybe we are using the word suspected because nobody has been properly apprehended, and we know, because crime actually have no tribe. We are using suspected because that is the narrative that is being played out. So the Fulani also went to Bandawa villages and burned them down. As I speak to you, most of these villages and these towns are there like a ghost. No human beings in some of them. Some of the places that our reporter visited, the pictures we gather, the videos we gather, you will see a whole village, no single human being, no is there. So I felt this situation must not continue to allow to persist, because in this 21st century, there's supposed to be a more better approach and better situation to be able to resolve this problem. So for me, there are things to be done. Yeah, I commend the efforts of the government so far. In some cases, we've seen government sending humanitarian approach, or we've seen SEMA visit some of those areas even after some of this attack, providing shelter. Because we already have humanitarian crisis, because there are places in which there are supposed to be schools, but people have to take refuge in some of those places in the local government. So for me, there are decisive action, because we cannot continue to watch this happen and nothing is done. Number one, the community themselves need to embrace this idea of peace. And if you need peace, you also need to give peace. Both the two warring factors need to embrace peace, because who is the loser as far as this crisis is concerned? All of them are the losers. From every part and every end, everybody have lost somebody, something. Have lost somebody, have lost something. You understand? The effort the security agency made to bring peace and even have some level of agreement, people must not continue to take law into their hands. People must not continue to take laws into their hands. That peace agreement, some of us are privy to it. It has specification, and it also has remedy. So I believe that it is important that the people return back to the table, and obey the agreement and the letters in that peace pact. Secondly, government need to treat Karim Lamido as an emergency area. As an emergency area. When I say emergency area, I've received attack from people who said, you want the local government chairman to be sacked. Not necessarily. If you want to declare a state of emergency in a place, not necessarily you must sack the local government. The government can appoint somebody, maybe a serving or an ex-military officer, as a sole administrator. The chairman continue to handle administrative issue while the person handles security issues. Because the life of one person is very, very important. The life of a single individual is very, very important. So we can have a sole administrator. Not necessarily. This has happened even in Nigeria. There was a time President Goodluck Jonathan declared state of emergency in some local government of Borno State, but did not sack the governor. The current Vice President Shetima was the governor of Borno State as at that time. And we have heavy deployment of security agency in that area. So looking for solution and declaring the place a state of emergency simply shows that this place is giving attention that it requires. As it stands for me, because we don't know when next. Because if you think that this thing has gone, this has happened, I'm talking about 29th, today is 31st, I'm talking about the last attack was 3 days ago. So when next will another attack come? So, but these areas cannot be said to be ungovernable. The station of security men and these areas, not far from the areas, and the deployment with surveillance can prevent any of the two factions from attacking each other. Enough of the attack, enough of the burning, enough of the killing. So I believe that the state government can do more. Well, we're not saying they are not doing anything. They have done something. We have seen something. The setting up the committee of the commission of inquiry, it is something. But for me, we must go beyond that and make sure that no attack happens again.
Okay. Hello?
Yeah, I'm with you.
Okay. Thank you very much for that very, very robust analysis of the situation. Now, the question is, if the Commission of Inquiry is going on and the killings are still going on, is there no need for that Commission of Inquiry to take a pause and maybe for now go and gather more people? Because if someone is giving his testimonies there, definitely it wouldn't be also in crisis. Maybe enough people were not brought into this commission of inquiries. Do you think this is one of the reasons why these attacks still continue?
Sorry, come again.
No, I said, just like you said, there's a commission of inquiry, a judicial inquiry going on. Do you think that probably maybe those really affected, those who are aggrieved, are not part of those that are brought in to give their testimonies in this commission? Is there a need for government to go seek out again? Some may just be there aggrieved and thinking that nobody reached out to them. Is there a need for the government to also go back and speak to these people again, that anyone that is aggrieved, that has any grievances, should come up with his testimonies so that it can be resolved? Hello?
Yes, definitely. You know, for me, I expect that the setting of the Commission of Inquiry should have automatically even stopped this killing. But unfortunately, it has not. We've seen the committee invite high-profile individuals. If you see one of our reports recently, the committee invited high-profile individual from Karim Lamido to appear before the committee. This involved traditional rulers, heads of youths, both from the community, the Munga Dulso community, the Munga Lele community, the Bandawa community, the heads of Fulani, the traditional ruler of the Wurkon people, and so many others. Recently, the committee lists out the name of people that they should appear before them. Yeah, this has been done. But for me, what I'm saying is, how could a crisis be ongoing when an inquiry, I felt that there is a need to ensure that nothing again, no attack again happen. And this is why I'm calling for a serious emergency situation. You know, when you say, when you say that there is an emergency, it means that your whole attention, resources is put in that thing. When you say somebody is rushed for, if in an hospital, when somebody is in a ward of emergency, you will see that the doctors come every 1 minute, every 3 minutes, every 5 minutes, to check the person. Because the situation is critical. And that is what I'm saying, that Karim is in an emergency situation. And we must give it that emergency attention that it requires. You know, we must increase the deployment of security agencies, you know, and ensure that.
Hello? Hello? Oh, I think we lost. Hello?
So,
okay.
Sorry, can you hear me now?
Yes, go ahead.
So, this is why it is very critical. So, and increase the deployment. We already know the strategic areas. We already know the places that are prone to attack. So, that is why I am not saying that the inquiry should stop. But I think there is also need for a word from the committee of inquiry about the ongoing situation. The fact that sometimes even some of these reports we don't bring them up does not mean they are not happening. Sometimes it's just our own approach to. But the persistence of the occurrence is what is giving everybody major concern. Because if an issue like this keep persisting, then it means that we need to go back and check the approach that we have adopted.
Okay, thank you very much. Now, I want to come from this angle. You said it at the beginning that this crisis is happening all across Nigeria, from Benue to Plateau. We have it comes in different variations. In the south, in the northwest, it is banditry. In this part, it is either farmer clashes. In some areas, it's kidnapping. Now, don't you think that this may just be a pot of soup too hot for the state government to handle? At this point, don't you think the federal government and even the president, don't you think that he needs to step in the way he stepped in the issue of Benue State? Because it seems like, just like the roads in Amne Bridge, they've left us to our own devices. Nobody cares about what happens in Taraba. Has it gotten to the point where the president needs to make a statement or come visiting?
Yeah, you know, the issue of some of these crises, as we have observed, they are national issues. Even the issue of herders and farmers' crisis is actually a national issue, because this issue is happening across Nigeria. And different people have looked at it from different perspectives and tried to provide what they think is a solution. But can we borrow leave from other countries? The solution to farmers' herders crisis is ranches. Some people have said, let's design grazing routes. But for me, who is going to monitor the cows that they are actually passing through the grazing routes? Some of these things are not happening within town or within city. Some of them happen in remote villages. That nobody will be there to say, this is the road you should be able to follow. But what other countries have done to solve herders farmers crisis is to implement the issue of ranches. And ranches have worked. We have cases of effective ranches in Sardana, for instance, in Taraba. Yesterday, during the politics today, we talked about the need to grow grasses. That is a multi-dollar business. Because what really are the cows looking for? Basically, it's two things.
Yeah.
The grass and the water.
Yes.
If we can do in such a way, because in some of these areas, boreholes can be drilled, you know, and you know, we can grasses can be grown. I think the Taraba State government, for instance, has set up a committee,
yes,
which wants to look at this kind of solution. That committee is being headed by the Emir of Muri. His Royal Highness Abbas Ijinda Tafida. And if the model Taraba wants to adopt works, there's nothing wrong Taraba providing solution to a national problem.
Yes, of course.
So for me, we need to look at this option. Look at Kenya, for instance. Kenya have been able to be successful in ranching. Just yesterday, Kenya supplied Lagos 50 dairy cows. And you know the method they used to supply it was not even vehicle, through a cargo plane.
Cargo plane. Wow, that must be some very expensive cows there.
50 dairy cows was supplied to Lagos State by a state in Kenya via a cargo plane. So the world has advanced. We must not continue to keep using old approach and old method to solve 21st century problem. If everybody has advanced, we must also advance in some of these situations. So I seriously am one of the persons that look forward to the committee set up by the executive governor of Taraba State, Governor Abuke Fas, on solving some of these farmers and herders conflict. And I believed in the integrity and the competence of the Emir of Muri. There is somebody who has preached this approach for many years. And I think the setting up of this committee is an avenue for him to implement this national problem, because this problem is a national problem. And if the effort he implement was able to solve this national problem, then we can say that Taraba has provided solution for a national problem.
Thank you. Thank you very much, sir. Then you spoke about Kenyans supplying cows to Lagos State. Now, I want to bring out two issues there. One, it seems that no matter how you head this cow up and down, they can never meet such standards. Because even yesterday, Honorable Mekaswa, the new MD/CEO of Taraba Aggregation Company, say whatever cow they buy, they must still keep them for like 9 months for fattening, because when they move about, they can't really get to that stage whereby they'll be fattening enough. That is one. So it shows that even herding, no matter how you do, you can't provide the best of our cattle or cow. There's another thing. In Kenya, they have this issue of the Maasai. The Maasai are nomadic people just like the Fulani people. But it seems the Maasai have bought into the idea of herding. Now, these herders, have they bought into the idea? Do they think it's a religion or a culture? If they don't buy into the idea, do you think they will agree to this ranching? What can be done in that aspect?
Yeah, and that is why the use of traditional rulers, because, you know, our people have a belief and confidence, particularly in their leaders. We have, for instance, Mieti Allah Association, which is a very strong association that have membership across Nigeria. You can start somewhere. And what do I mean by starting somewhere? By enlightening, if you pick a particular group, for instance, and you start with it and it works, it becomes a testimony to others. So for me, these things are not things that are not doable. Another thing, again, is the will of government. Because while we talked about this even 50 cows that were supplied, but it means that, it also shows us that it means that we cannot, does it mean we cannot as a country be able to do cow fattening that will be able to supply our companies in Nigeria dairy milk? Do you know that majority of our companies that produce milk, talk about pig milk, Hollandia, this, do you know that they rely heavily more on foreign supply? So you will see that we keep using all approach, and that is why we keep revolving around the same area. Imagine that we have to depend on Kenya to be able to do this. What is the population of Kenya compared to the population of Nigeria? How many cows do you have in Kenya compared to the number of cows?
Go ahead, sir.
Very healthy, meaning that they have been cultured and treated and grew under a controlled environment. And that's what we're talking about. If you look at most of our cows, you will see cows, they are not healthy. Reason is because we do not grow these things in a more proper and healthy environment. And I think this, for me, with all the things that is happening, is a great opportunity for Taraba. Taraba can key into what number of a good number of cows being eating across Nigeria. Do you know it's coming from Taraba?
Yeah.
Go to Iware Market, go and see the number of vehicles, trailers that is being loaded. Where are they going? To Enugu, to Onitsha, to Lagos. Go to many other markets.
Hello?
So many others. What is this town after Iware before you get to Wukari?
Is it Tella?
Mutumbu?
No, before Wukari. Is
Tella?
it Tella?
Yes, Tella. You know, in Mutumbi we have it. Go to Mayo Sambe, you know, and some part of this, every dead and this. So this is a multi-billion-dollar business. Thank God for the proactive nature of the state government, how particularly the setting up and the Lagos Taraba deal. And everybody has commented that the appointment of Zeno was a right appointment. So if they are given the necessary environment and the plate and the free hand, they will be able to deliver. So we need to begin to look at how can even to understand what is actually Kenya doing differently. Because we don't even want to talk about some countries of the world. We are basically talking about our contemporary African countries.
Okay, thank you very much. Mr. Ira, do you have questions for?
Yes, I'm just trying to look at it from where he mentioned how we have lots of opportunities, particularly from Taraba State. If you make a simple analysis, you go to town, you go to all these routes. If you're traveling from Jalingo to Mutumbu, the number of filling stations you see, the number of maybe schools, the number of hotels you see in town. Maybe should we create the awareness for people to start investing in cattle breeding, cattle fattening? Because in most instances when you talk about this, even institutions like universities that are supposed to be the hub for this kind of development are busy doing investment in other aspects that ordinarily is not as lucrative as this. So maybe the problem is from that perspective. What do you think, sir?
Yeah. One of the problems we are having is actually perspective and understanding, you know, and also government involvement. Because I took time to study the Kenya's case study. I realized that I cannot remember the name of the state again now in Kenya. I saw that the governor was passionately involved in ensuring that they delivered that promise that and that memorandum of understanding that they have with Lagos. The governor was at the airport when the cows, the dairy cows were being loaded, and even before takeoff, And for him to come to that point, I believe that even in the other aspect and other discussion, he was involved. So for me, three things are involved in this thing. Number one, we need education. Because a lot of our farmers, a lot of our headers are already used to the old approach and the old method. And because we are used to the old method and the old this thing, it would take a great number of education, awareness, sensitization, and support to be able to change that mindset. Imagine somebody who is now 60 years and all through his life, right from when he was 10, this was the approach and method that he has been using. Meaning that for 50 years of his life, he has been customized, let me use that word, or believed to be, this is how this is done. So, it's whatever you know that you can be able to work with it. Second is government participation and involvement. There is a need for greater involvement of government. Thank God for this Lagos Taraba deal. I believe that people are now enlightened. People will not begin to think that Lagos is bringing money for people in Taraba to share. That is not the situation. The situation is opportunity for you to grow, and you are sure of a ready market. You are sure of a ready market. So a lot needs to be done for us to get there. But as people rightly say, the journey of 1,000 miles begin with a step. For me, a step has been taken, but we need more steps to be taken. We need a policy. We need to revolve around policy. Policy means that we should be able to have an appropriate guidelines, an appropriate setup that will be able to guide us on what exactly should be done and how it should be done and the expected results that it will be gotten.
Thank you. Thank you very much. There's also this question of a lot of people have lost properties, lost lives into this crisis. And probably that is why you keep seeing reprisal upon reprisal upon reprisal. We may fix the issue of the cows, but what about the pains that the people have felt, the distrust among the communities? How do we resolve that? Because as it is, you don't know who is aggrieved and is waiting for the opportunity to strike next. How do we resolve that issue of pain and pent-up anger?
That is why the committee of inquiry is necessary. And I believe that that is the reason why the committee was set up. And for me, the committee should be a two-edged sword. It should be a carrot and stick approach. What do I mean by carrot and stick approach? The carrot approach is that the committee should be able to also come up with those affected and the way and manner in which they should be compensated. Houses have been burned down. We cannot just have this committee and just speak English and at the end and just say, God bless you. No. There should be a carrot in the sense that there should be a way for people to rebuild their homes, to build their livelihoods, because as I said, these destructions and this loss is from both ends. So the committee should be able to look at holistically who is involved and what is involved. Who is involved has to do with the people that are involved in terms of what is involved. What are the things that was lost in terms of properties, in terms of building, in terms of whatever that has been lost, in terms of cows, in terms of animals, and all the destructions that have been taking place. Also even quantify in terms of amount and appropriate compensation done. And that is why I keep talking about the fact that we must make sure that the crisis does not continue. Secondly, is the stick approach. The stick approach is those who are found guilty should be punished, so that it should serve as a deterrent to others. Those who are innocent and their property has been lost should be compensated. But those who are culprit, those who are the masterminders, those who are the genesis of, and those who have intentionally and willingly destroyed the properties of others should face the wrath of the law, so that it will serve as a detriment to others. Our constitution does not allow us to take laws into our hands. Our constitution do not allow us to take laws into our hands. So the approach of the committee should be a two-way approach to see how to bring succor. But you know there are certain things that you cannot pay for. How do you pay for the lives that is lost?
Yes.
How do you pay for the? And that is why when we talk about crisis, you only know the beginning, you don't know the end. How do you pay for somebody who has lost his two parents? How much will you give him as a compensation? And that's why we're saying that enough is enough. Damage has been done, lives has been lost, property has been, but this should not continue. That's the point. That is the issue of, if you read my articles in today's paper of Taraba News, that is the point. Yes, we have agreed that properties have been lost, crisis has happened, people have lost their livelihood, things has happened, but we at least let it stop this way. Let's find solution already. That's why I titled that write-up, Enough is Enough.
Okay, thank you very much. Well, I just want to, you are someone that has been following this, this issue for so long, and you are very vast on the matter. I want to ask two straight questions. One, should we also look at the idea of amnesty? Can we look at the idea of amnesty? That is one. Then two, you've covered these stories for so long. Do you know of any case of people arrested that have been persecuted by the courts or they have faced the wrath of the law? Do you have an idea of such cases? And maybe if you do, you can educate us more on that.
Okay, let me start with the issue of amnesty. I believe that the issue of amnesty is very important. Reason is because weapons have found their way to hands of unlawful people. Because some of these killings from both ends, you know, if you watch the videos of some of the cows that were killed, some of them were shot. They were shot. So weapons have gotten into the hands of, and you know, if we did not, even if it is not amnesty, there must be a form of amnesty. What do I mean by a form? A committee should be able to come up with is for everybody who has weapon in his house to come to bring it out willingly. And even if it is not amnesty, if it is the state of emergency that is being declared, then there is a need for special operation for the community for the security agency to be, because under an emergency situation, the security agency could have the power to go to people's houses and begin to bring out weapons that they have, that they kept. So definitely, in either through amnesty, either through an emergency situation, either through ever means, because if after everything we have done, we were not able to ensure that we rid the community of every form of arm and ammunition, one day we're still going to go back to this problem. Because one day will happen, somebody will offend somebody again, and because he has weapon with him, he will bring it out.
But this
part of the reconciliation effort and part of effort to ensure a lasting peace in this area is to ensure that all small weapons, ammunition, whatever that some people have kept, some people have had, is being recovered by the government. This is very crucial and very important to be able to even foretold the future. Because if somebody does not have a weapon, there is even a way that it will even make him to be more sober. Because part of the problem we have is, okay, if you do something, me too, I'll go and bring my weapon, and I will do this, I will do that. So I believe that there is a need for that. Number two, as far as I'm concerned, there is no record of any arrests as far as I'm concerned.
Okay.
We have not heard either from the police, either from the DSS, either from the army. We have not had parading. We have not had anybody being paraded as far as Karim crisis is concerned. We've not had it. I follow the stories, I have published things. I've spoken to high-ranking individuals as far as this crisis is concerned. For me, I don't know, except if I'm not aware. But as far as I know, as far as I follow this story, there have not been any record of arrest of any individual.
Now, are you saying that if arrests are made and prosecutions are being made, they are going to serve as deterrent, most likely? Because if somebody knows that I'll commit this crime and tomorrow I'll be arrested and I'll be punished or maybe sentenced to death too, or being sentenced to court or imprisonment, it's going to go a long way in solving this problem.
Yes, that's why I say the approach of the commission should be a two-way approach. The carrot and the stick. The stick is the punishment. Part of what has encouraged criminality and some of these things in our country is because most perpetrators of some of this crime go unpunished. This is not only about Karim. This has happened all over the countries. We've seen bandits holding meetings with terrorists in broad daylight in some areas in Northwest. We have seen people declare wanted, coming to town to hold. So, while I encourage the idea of amnesty, the idea of reconciliation, but we must also begin to look at, because if somebody have done it and go and went away with it, another person will also think of doing the same thing.
Okay. Yes, we have a text message here, and the message is directed at you concerning what you said, that the government should go and mop up weapons from those communities. Now the question is coming from Justin from Karim. He said, now the communities of farmers, they are stationary, and they are the ones that have the houses, and you can go to and mop up weapons from their community. But most of these herders are nomadic in nature, and once they commit this crime, they go. And if those of them that commit this crime, they don't live in this part of the country. So how do you mop up the weapons from the nomadic herders? Because once you mop up what little things the communities have to defend themselves, you leave them vulnerable again to the nomadic people. So how do we resolve that issue?
Yeah, what the concern he raised is a genuine concern. But you see, this also talk about the failure of governance or government. First schedule, section 1, first schedule of our constitution clearly stated that the security of life and property shall be the primary aim of government. The security of life and property. Why do people think that they need some of these weapons? Is because government has failed to protect them. Naturally, government is supposed to protect its citizens against any aggression. And when I'm talking about mopping out this weapon, I'm not talking about mopping only from the what you call maybe even from the herders. In those days, what we know the herders use is stick.
Stick, yes.
Is that no?
Yes, definitely.
When you were growing up, what do you see the herders with?
It's a stick. They call sanda.
And with a single stick, when did an herder start carrying AK-47? It's a misnomer. So when I'm saying that we should see how to seize these weapons from, I'm talking about everybody who is not licensed to carry weapon. Whether he's a nomadic, whether he's going from place to place. Why do we have stop and search? Even on the road. Does not mean if people are going or they said not go in clear hand, the right to have the privilege. So it is ensuring that government stand up to its own responsibility and ensuring that weapons does not find itself in the hand of unauthorized people. Because it is one of the major problems that has put us to where we are. So what I'm saying needs to be done is not just for a particular section of people or section of individual. It's all. We must not be in the hand of who is not authorized. That's the point we're making. But as it stands now, it has found itself in the hands of unauthorized people. And it's a reason for this senseless killing we see every day.
Okay. I would want us to do something now. Before we will go for a break. And when we come back, we will now look at the idea of local policing, community policing, whatever nomenclature we want to call on in. And we can also allow people to call into the program. So we'll go for a short break. When we come back, you'll be able to participate in this program. And we'll also talk about the solutions, the local solutions that we can arrive at the community level for this crisis all across Nigeria, not only in Karim Lamido. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Four brand new tax reform laws have just been signed by Mr. President. Here's what you need to know.
So tax is money citizens and businesses pay to the government. It's how public schools, hospitals, roads, and even security agencies get funded. So it's basically your contribution towards building your country. Let me say, let us all be good citizens and pay our taxes.
Federal Inland Revenue Service, FIRS, has now been renamed. It is now known as Nigerian Revenue Service, NRS, with a wider scope of responsibility.
Are you tired of multiple taxation? Well, good news. Because to improve the ease of doing business, we'll now have a unified revenue collection. The new NRS will handle all revenue collections that were previously handled by agencies such as Customs, NIMASA, NPA, and even NUPRC. Wow.
Are you a worker earning 800,000 or less? The new law has introduced a low-income relief that exempts you from paying income tax.
How about the big ogas? You are not exempted. You're gonna have to pay 25% of personal income tax if you earn 50 million naira and above annually.
And if you are a small business owner with an annual turnover income of 50 million or less, you are exempted from paying income tax altogether.
Also, essential items and services such as food, school fees, and even electricity are exempted from tax altogether.
Now, VAT remains at 7.5%. What does that mean for you and me? Let's say you buy a t-shirt for 10,000 naira. You're actually paying 750 naira in VAT. That's the government's share.
Now, how is that money split? Well, the federal government gets 10%, states get 55%, and the local governments get what? 35%. Well, think of it like sharing a cake amongst the three. The states have the highest chunk, so you better hold your governors accountable.
Now, the new VAT sharing formula. 50% is shared equally, 30% by how much the state spends, and 20% by population. So, simply put, if the state buys more and has more people, it gets more.
Crypto guys, listen up. If you trade virtual assets like Bitcoin, you're now expected to report and declare all your trades. Party is over, man.
A new development levy of 2 to 4% now supports education, tech, and other key areas.
And for gaming and lottery businesses, a 30% tax rate now applies. Simple. But note, the implementation of all these new tax laws won't come into effect until the 1st of January 2026. So the government has a lot of time to plan and enlighten the people.
So yes, a new tax age dawns. And we hope all the savings will serve the people.
You are specially invited to the book launch titled Comprehensive Structure and Curriculum Coverage on Part of Speech in Kuteb Mother Tongue. Author Jeremiah Musa Ambashik JP. Date Sunday, 10th August 2025. Venue Bible Society of Nigeria, Roadblock Jalingo, Taraba State. Time 2 p.m. prompt. Chairman of the occasion, Honorable Joshua Yurugu Piki, Member, Taraba State House of Assembly Jalingo. Chief Launcher, Sir Michael Magaji, Director Bureau of Public Enterprise, Team Presidency, Abuja. Special Guest of Honor, Honorable Dr. Felista Musa JP, Commissioner, Social Justice and Reintegration, Jalingo. Royal Father of the Day, Queen Dr. Amos Andiki, Bamboo Chieftain representing Andikwe. Child Lady of the occasion, Pastor Mrs. Fintrima Emmanuel Bolos, 6th Fin Classic, Jalingo. Book Reviewer, Reverend Dr. Victor Audu, Lecturer, Taraba State University, Jalingo. Iya Anda of the Day, Pastor Honorable Mrs. Vicky Aishikfe, SA to the wife of the Governor, Taraba State. In the full of the day, Honorable Emmanuel Lawson, Deputy Chief of Staff, Taraba State. Chief Host, Reverend Dr. Andy and Mrs. Musa JP and Moses. Special appearance, the Prince, Ibrahim Damburam, HOD, Art Education, Taraba State University, Jalingo. Chief Organizer, Mr. Iranomba Adi, Mr. Manasseh Luka, The Gates, Imba 10 and Moses. Master of the ceremony, Honorable Henry I. Joro, Jalingo, Taraba State. Patron, Comrade Emmanuel Ukwen, KYN President. Music featuring Lord Andy Adaki, Celebrity Lecturer, Ayotep Hosea, Ayek Bambo, Victor Ambokji, and others. Dress code, Kuteb Cultural Attires. Come and learn to unlearn the unlearnable. Announcer, the organizing committee team.
Welcome back to Hangout on Hangout with Journalists on Some TV. Today we're discussing the Karim Lamido crisis, security crisis, and why government must act now, and also why the people must act towards achieving a peaceful coexistence. And with me is Mr. Era Daniel Kokwen, who's the co-anchor for today. He's the director of news for Some TV. And also special appearance by Chief Gabriel Olayinka, the CEO of Some TV, who has been giving us a lot of insights into the matter, the issues of going on in Karim Lamido. And you know, in a time when silence is no longer an option, these dialogues brings together voices demanding real action to address the ongoing crisis in Karim. And the question on the lips of everyone is, why is this area burning? What must government do immediately? What role can citizens, journalists, and even community leaders play? So that is, we'll discuss some of these issues. And then now but we'll still go back to, before I go to Chief Gabriel Olayinka, I would like you to say one or two things based on the information he has released so far.
Yes, based on what you have said, every hand must be on deck. There is no aspect of seeing to it that we bring an end to this crisis that should be ignored. The committee of inquiry, the security architecture, the community, the issue of pursuance of justice, so that it's going to serve as deterrent, are all factors that must be considered holistically, not just from one perspective to the other, so that at the end of the day, we must be vindicated that we have done the needful to see to it that peace is returned to Karim and the environs.
Okay, thank you very much. We are also calling on the viewers to join this conversation. You can drop your comments on our Facebook page. As you tell us where you are responding from. I think this is a situation. This is a conversation that everybody's voice is needed. Let me read these comments from Minor Kangos Yahaya. Okay. The persistent attack between the suspected herders and some communities in Karim Lamido may be traced to some number of factors, among which are one, proliferation of small arms, the easy availability of weapons fuels the violence and makes the conflict more deadly. There's also perceived bias in the response of security agencies to most of the incidents seems to escalate most of the tension. Then you also have lack of respect for traditional leaders, and their conflict resolution mechanism seems to have hindered peaceful settlements. Then we have traditional system for resolving disputes over land and water have weakened, leading to escalation of conflict. Also said ineffective law enforcement and a lack of political will to address the root cause of this conflict seems to have contributed to its persistence. Now, and then we say, thank you, Sun TV. We hope this discussion brings a lasting solution to the problem of the persistent attack facing our local government. This is from Minor Kangos Yahaya. It's from Karim Lamido local government. Chief Gabriel Olayinka, I hope you heard what Minor Kangos Yahaya has to say concerning this issue. I want us to look at this.
Yes.
There's something I want us to look at again. He said, because you've touched some of the things he spoke about, he said perceived bias in the response of security agencies to most of the incidents seems to escalate most of the tensions. Do you think there's a bias by security agencies? Because these are some of the things that make people lose trust in the process and in the system.
For me, it's relative. For me, if you look at it in Taraba, I wouldn't say the security agency has been biased.
Okay.
I have seen the commitment and the effort being displayed by security agency, particularly in Taraba State. So for me, if you look at it, because as I said, it's what he said is relative. But the security agencies in Taraba have not shown any form of biasness and sectionalism, you know, as far as me I can see, because I have related closely with security agency on some of this issue. For instance, I told you about the peace accord that was signed, that was championed by the military under the guide of the Brigadier, the 6th Brigade Commander, Brigadier General Kingsley Uwar. He called all the parties together. And what was he looking for? For them to be able to settle their differences and live peacefully. And I also know that there have been deployments, both from the army, both from the police, both from the mobile police, both from even DSS. You know, so you cannot completely say, but you know, one thing I know most of the times in crisis is that whoever is affected will always want to feel as if the other person is biased. But also, having said that, there are certain things that are not intentional. And what do I mean by intentional? One of the reasons why citizens has accused security agency is also as a result of response. Because you see, sometimes the locals have a way of having information that attackers are coming. And our systems sometimes require, you have to take instruction, has to take authority from whoever before you can act. Because sometimes when you even act without instruction and anything goes wrong, you take the blame.
Okay.
So the proactiveness, sometimes what we term as being biased is in the proactiveness. In one of the security reports I saw, it was evidence that, for instance, the 29th attack, the locals are aware.
Yeah, that was July 29th. Was it the July 29th attack? Hello, I said, was it that attack on July 29th that you're talking about?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. The report said that the locals were aware, because when the attackers came to that Bandawa, they didn't.
I think. Okay, are you still there with us?
There was a pre-information that this attack will happen, but whether or not that information was shared with the security agency is what we don't know.
Okay.
If it was shared, what was the action that the security agencies took to avoid that? So you will see that, and also another thing is in terms of availability of logistics. Available vehicles. I know if you look at the terrain we are talking about, it's a very big terrain. Karilamido is very vast and very wide. So when an attack is taking place in one community, for instance, and you have been able to station security, when another attack takes place in another community, it may be about 20, 30, 40 kilometers away.
Yes.
And that also talked about the effectiveness of our security agency. Because due to the insecurity that is happening in our country, our security agency are also overwhelmed.
Definitely, they are.
They are overwhelmed. You have problem here, you deploy. How many personnel? How many security agency do we have per citizen?
It's below the
Nigeria
standard.
is said to have over 200,000 people, 200 million people. Our estimated population right now is about 220 million, because of course we've not done census for a while, so we'll only be talking about based on growth rates and death rates. Yeah. So if you go by that statistics, the population of Nigeria is about 220 million people. We don't have up to 20 million personnel. We don't even have up to 10 million. We don't even have up to 5 million. When I talk about personnel, every security agency put together, police, SSS, army, immigration, all the armies put together, they are not up to 10 million people. So you see now that our security architecture is so overwhelmed.
Okay, thank you very much. Now, you spoke about the issue of bureaucracy, which hinders a swift response by security agencies. Don't you think that that calls for local solution, security architecture, to ensure that they will be there and they will be the first line of defense before the army, the police, or whatsoever come? So what do you think? We have Taraba marshals. We also have vigilantes. Don't you think we need to also empower the traditional architecture that we used to have before then? And now, well, before you answer that question, let me tell the viewers that you can call us and contribute to this show on our number 0704-919-8503. The number is displayed on the screen of your TV set, so you can call to contribute to this discussion. So, Chief Gabriel, what do you think we can do locally so that we don't keep waiting for order from Defense House or from one place?
I'm one of the persons that believe in state police. I am one of the firm advocate and believer of state police. And I have my reasons. One of my reasons is because the system we currently run, our police and our security architecture is so overwhelmed. It's so overwhelmed. By the time you remove even police officers that have been given to VIPs, that's why you will see anytime there is a special occasion, they cannot deploy without having to ask special deployment to come back to base. Those sent to banks, that were attached to VIP. Anytime you see maybe a president is coming and all those special deployment are being withdrawn. Those that are with banks, those that are staying in VIP's place, those attached to special individuals and all that. Most of the times when there is a need for a beef of security, you see that what it means is that we don't have enough.
Yeah.
And see, Taraba is the third largest state in Nigeria. In terms of landmass, you know, it's leading by Borno and Niger. After Borno and Niger in this country, Taraba has the third largest landmass.
Okay.
So, what am I saying in essence? And this is not only for Taraba, this is for me a national solution. We need state police. But, you know, having said that does not mean there won't be challenges, there won't be problem. Or there are no challenges that will come even if that is implemented. State police do you know that in America, we have both state police and federal police?
Yes, they do. They do.
That's what is practiced in America. So each of them have their own jurisdiction. There are things that are being handled by state police in America. Each of these states, Georgia, Atlanta.
You hear LAPD, Los Angeles Police Department, NYPD, New York
and
Police
there are
Department.
Police.
Yes, definitely. And they also have sheriffs, and they have sheriffs at the local level.
Yes. So if countries like America are doing that, then Nigeria need to adopt a similar approach.
Okay.
Some states in this country have started doing certain things, like Southwest, for instance. Amotekun are helping in combating criminality in Southwest.
Yes.
You understand?
Okay.
This is an initiative of the 6 Southwest states. The Amotekun Corps. They've helped in combating criminality in a lot of areas. You know, they've been able to foil kidnapping. They've been able to avoid some unnecessary damage and things that have happened. So why not we look at it and provide? Taraba State also have what we call the Taraba Marshal. Recently, I think about 2,000 or is it 3,000 officers were trained.
Yeah.
Recently. Recently.
Yes. I saw. I think we carried our story.
Yes, Sun TV covered the event.
Yes, sir. Okay, go ahead.
So you see that we now we need such initiative. But you see, for it to be effective, you cannot, under the current situations of what we have, different states also have their own, solve some of this problem. You cannot ask a man who is carrying stick to go and confront a man who is carrying gun.
Okay.
You understand?
Yes, yes.
So it means that there must be a proper way, maybe to train them and even empower them to be able to take up some of these challenges.
That's very, very critical.
I know many years ago when the issue of civil defense came up, we were afraid.
Yes.
But today, civil defense has become part of our destiny. Gradually, initially they were not given weapon, but today now we have some of them that have been trained on weapon handling.
Yes, even women. I've seen women. They are female officers to handle weapons.
I know that there was this initiative about Peace Corps, National Peace Corps.
Peace Corps, yeah.
The bill was initially passed into law, but later something happened, and it was sabotaged.
Yes, it was. I remember. Okay.
We can revisit it for Peace Corps because it's a national solution.
Yes.
It's a national thing. All we need to do, for instance, is that since each state is having what is called their own, let's see how to integrate it. Because another challenge you are going to have is also funding.
Yes, yes.
It is not an easy thing to fund security outfit. It is not an easy thing. Provision of vehicles, provision of arms, ammunition, logistics and all that. This takes a lot of money.
Okay.
So what do? You can do it in such a way that the federal government, since it's going to be part of the overall solution to national security, there could be a special fund. Like under our constitution now, we have what is called consolidated revenue fund. We have what is called contingency fund.
Ecological funds.
And so forth. Yeah. So we can create a special fund that take care of this, so that the state government will have a role to play and the federal government will also have a role to play. So for me, there is no solution that we cannot think out, but we must acknowledge that the current security architecture, our current security men and women are overwhelmed. So there is a need to think out a more appropriate solution. Particularly, that could be a national solution that could support the current effort by our security agencies.
Thank you very much, Chief Gabriel Olayinka, for your contributions to this program. And you've spoken so much to the authorities. In a minute, can you just speak to the people of Karim Lamido, both the farmers, the herders, the ethnic group, whosoever? Please just speak to them.
We must give peace a chance. If you need peace, you must give peace. All the parties need to bury their sword and embrace all the peace effort that is put to them by the government.
Okay.
Continue drag and continue to claim, this is my right, I must do this, will not solve this problem. We need to ensure that this killing does not continue. This killing must not continue. Enough is enough. So I'm talking to both parties because in one way or the other, everybody have tried to show what he can do and all that. We must embrace peace. Nigeria belongs to all of us. We cannot continue to allow bloodbaths in our community.
Okay.
Peace is not a substitute. Peace is a must.
Thank you very much, Chief Gabriel Olayinka, for your wonderful contribution and insights to Anga with journalists today and on the Karim Lamido crisis. We really appreciate you for joining. You can go have a nice, wonderful rest now while we draw the curtains on the show. Thank you very much, Chief Gabriel Olayinka.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Well, let me now go back from Chief Gabriel Olayinka. What's your final thoughts on this matter?
There is no alternative to peace, just like he said. Whatever it is you do, whatever it is that peaceful coexistence cannot give you, violence can never give you that.
Definitely.
Killings, destruction of properties can never give you that. So as we go about our lives in Taraba, in Karim, let's pursue peace. That is what is going to give us the peace we needed and the development we need.
Okay. Thank you very much for that contribution. And also I would like to say thank you to Mr. Maina Kangos Yaya, whose wonderful contribution on Facebook was able to give more insight to the discussion. Thank you very much, Maina Kangos Yaya. Your prayers for peace and a lasting solution to the problem will definitely come by the grace of God. So this is where we draw the curtains on today's edition of Anchor with Journalists. And I will end it with this. Say, as we bring this important conversation to a close, one thing is clear: silence is no longer an option. The cries from the Karim Lamido are not distant echoes. They are urgent calls for justice, peace, and responsible leadership. We hope tonight's discussion serves not only as a spotlight, but as a wake-up call for all stakeholders, from government authorities to security agencies, traditional institutions, and community leaders to rise to the occasion. And as always, Psalm TV remains committed to giving voice to the voiceless and holding power to account. Thank you for joining us on Anger with Journalists. Let us not talk change, let us demand it, live it, and build it. I am Abraham Mine Joda, and with me this evening was Mr. Iradane Ukwen and also Chief Gabriel Olayinka. Don't go anywhere. Some TV other programs continues immediately after this. Thank you very much. Good evening.
Are you stuck in Jalingo late at night? Need a safe and reliable ride fast? Introducing Supercab, Jalingo's trusted ride-hailing service from anywhere in the city. We will pick you up right at your doorstep. Book a ride in seconds. Safe, fast, and affordable. Visit www.supercab.com.ng or download the Supercab app today. Supercab, your ride, your way.